Hey guys, welcome back to my new talk show that we introduced in the last video called Diamond Talks. If you're new here, I'm Ali Kimji, also known as Oro Vlogs, and down here below me is my co-host.
How are you, Ali? I hope everything's okay. We haven't met in a while, and we live in the same city. But today we have here a very, very good friend of ours, someone who personally has been with me in my journey of teenage years. We've enjoyed a lot of fun memories together. We've
We
gone on
have,
many trips together,
we really have.
and yeah, we have brother Hasnain Bojani, otherwise just known as Bojani. So with that, you can introduce yourself, tell us where you are, what you're doing, and yeah, start us off.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me today. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate Ali and Irfan for having a new segment, and also like the achievements you guys have in previous month of Ramadan with your other episodes. It was brilliant work. I enjoyed everything you guys did, and especially enjoyed your first segment between you two. It was motivational and positive, and that's what we will discuss today too. About my, well, I've not achieved much in life, but I have learned a few lessons that I need to share so that others can also take advantage with them. Here, so I'm in actually New York, the central pandemic city. Who it's basically the city which we all would love to go right now, but it is not what it used to be. So it's a bit dead right now because of protests and the pandemic. It's a fun city, really enjoying it here, and I'm doing engineering in mechanical engineering. So a few, I actually started like my learning journey where I started learning lessons for my life was in when I migrated from Malaysia to Kenya. So previously, before Malaysia, I was living in Pakistan. So Pakistan, Malaysia, Kenya, US. Now, so in Malaysia, my mother decided to send me over to her uncle's place in Kenya, Nairobi, where I was about 13 at that time, hardly used to speak English, and was a bit nervous that time, and I was small, hardly used to talk.
And I believe
Yeah,
when you first moved I think it was your first week is when we were first introduced. I think I was the first I saw, if I remember correctly, I saw you sitting at the sports club on a chair next to the carom board alone, and I saw you. I'm like, hey, who is this kid? And then we started interacting, and then we just took off to another level.
And then the story of Bojani started.
yeah, it was. The first few friends were, of course, Ali, and the other one was Abbas Mirali. Those ones were like, you guys are amazing. You guys were my journey for Kenya. And I was a bit chubby, by the way. I was a bit fat.
And short, and short.
And short.
And now
I'm
you're
right
like
now,
6'5". Oh, man.
that's the thing. Like, you never know where you reach. And that's the fun part of Kenya. Kenya has been my life, and I don't call my home Pakistan. My home is Kenya, and I love Kenya. By the way, I wear this band always, like Irfan is wearing, and Ali is wearing. So
I think every Kenyan wears one, to be honest.
yes,
Especially
if
any
you wanna
Kenyan
be
who goes
Kenyan,
abroad. Yeah, exactly. I think
that's the
any.
band you should wear. So when I was 13, I never knew much about life, and I used to be a naughty kid. But whenever I used to go into a new gathering, I used to be quiet because I was introvert until someone becomes friends with me. Then I become extrovert. But one advice I like to share here is my mom gave me before my flight from Malaysia to Nairobi. was that she told me, son, listen to me. You gotta keep your eyes open, your ears open, but keep your mouth shut. That's the advice I take with me till today, is that you should always keep your eyes open to be attentive. You should always keep your ears open to know what's happening in your surrounding, but never should you should speak first. And that's where you will go far. And that's the advice I usually tell everyone,
That's amazing,
because
actually.
And
If
that's
I can add
great.
on to
Yeah, please,
what
please.
you said.
sure,
Yeah, man, they say that the tongue is sharper than a sword, you know? So,
yeah,
I mean, sometimes it's just better to listen first, to take in the information before
Definitely.
actually, talking.
Yeah.
They say that we hear it so much that think twice before you say something,
Yeah, and you're
yeah.
supposed to listen to understand what the other person is saying, and you're not supposed to listen to answer back. I mean, that's one thing that's definitely big for me.
Yeah.
So from there, I started like learning English. That was like being fluent in English was a big step for me. And being the most naughtiest kid in school. Wow. Teachers used to get scared before they come to my class because I used to have fun in my class, never used to let the teacher teach, have, and I was enjoying my back seat, which was at the end of the class, and I used to have fun. Used to call out names, throw papers, make aeroplanes, throw at teachers, and it was the naughtiest kid in school. And like teachers would love me to go away. That's who I was in my young life.
Sorry, so you
Yeah.
didn't tell them what was the first year when you came to Nairobi? What was the class you joined?
So I joined in grade 8, in Nairobi Jaffrey Academy, and because I had influence with the head boy, I became prefect within a month, and used to misuse my power a lot because used to go to school but never used to enter class, and the whole day, like the whole 8 hours, I was just roaming around the school. Whenever a teacher asked me, "What are you doing?" I'm doing my prefect's duty. That was the fun part of it.
I mean, we can add on a point there also. A good point, I think. Something that applies to all of us right now in life is that sometimes when people are given power, no attack to you, Bojani.
Yeah,
I know
it's
we
all
all
right.
had
All right.
fun. We all
Yes.
had fun with it in our lives. But like when people are given power, the more power you're given, the more you tend to feel above people and feel like
Yeah,
you
definitely.
own you own people. You can
That's
tell
right.
people what to do. But like, in my opinion, I feel that the more power you get, the more humble you should become, the more lower you should become on the pyramid. The top of the pyramid is always the people who are who need the help, who want the help. You have
Yeah.
the power, you have something to use, That's when you
Yeah.
bring up other people.
You do have the responsibility with that power, and it's up to you to use it to help and benefit other people.
Yeah. So then later in my grade 13, I became a head boy for the school.
Wow.
And that
Okay,
was,
so first,
yeah.
let me stop you
Sorry.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell us what was the difference between in you personally, your
Yeah.
growth from grade 8 and when you are sitting your O level exams in year 11, and then what was the well, I was with you, so what was the explain to them what was the difference between you in year 12 in grade 12 in A levels and you in year 11. So the Hasnain from year 8, how is he different from the Hasnain in year 11, and the Hasnain in year 12, how is he different from there?
So I remember that in grade 10, I had 100% scholarship by the school because of my academics, and because of that, thank God for me to learn that lesson in grade 10. Because of my 100% scholarship, I thought I do not need to put more effort in my studies. And it's going as like if I'm getting a C, well, I'm getting a C, what can I do? But back then, I didn't really know my worth. And in grade 11, I did not perform well. in my O levels, as well as Irfan did. Mashallah, you got A's. The whole list was A's. So in my O levels, I was like disappointed, because this is a story I would like to share, is that in Jaffrey, we used to have top 10 names used to be printed out and put around the school to appreciate their effort. And I was really, really disappointed that I did not perform well in my O levels, and my picture was not in that top 10. So then I realized that to achieve something, you gotta put effort in. And then in grade 12, so in 11, once I graduated grade 11, I took my picture, my portrait picture, and went to the exam office, and Miss Sarah was there. So then I put my picture next to the top 10 guys, and I put my grades down. And I remember my grades were really bad, and I was like, one day I will be in there. Like, I want to be in there. And that picture was there for the whole of my grade 12. And at the end of grade 12, I was in top 5. So
Amazing.
Alhamdulillah, that was a great journey. Not top 5. I was in, top rank, so I could be in that in that list. But it was belief.
Yeah. So what made you grow from you being a naughty boy to knowing your potential of you're actually smart, okay, in year 9, and then getting a full scholarship, and then motivating yourself even more after O levels, and then year 12 and 13. So what made you grow as a person?
Yeah, Ali, people around the world say failures will teach you, failures will teach you. That was the lesson. My failure was so haunting to me. It was like, how can I fail? That knowing your worth, like if I'm worth $10, why should someone pay for me $1? That's the thing.
So you're hungry. You were hungry. You became hungry for success.
Hungry for
and you
my
still
success.
are. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And failures, and Ali, trust me, after those years of learning, I enjoy my failures right now, because those failures are the motivation for me right now. So I'll give you an example of recent, when I migrated to US for my studies, I still had to do a part-time job. And here around my house, there is like a street of restaurants. I was going in each and every restaurant to ask them, can I be a waiter? Can I be a bath boy? Can I be something at your place? Just give me a job and I will do it. And every time someone said no, that was the motivation for me to go to the next restaurant and ask them again the same thing. And this is what I learned from Nairobi, learning from grade 11's mistakes of being literally a failure in my O levels to achieving high grades in my A levels.
Yeah,
that was my the short success story for my school journey. And of course, I will never forget being a head boy. It gave me a lot of lessons in terms of responsibilities. I loved my support, loved my team of 67 prefects, and taught me that I'm not a person that would sit down and being led by someone else. I would love to be in the forefront and lead others. That was my aim for my school.
I mean, personally, I had a great experience giving advice to you and you giving advice to me. I mean, I remember a lot of times we just sit in a classroom or in the library and we'll have these discussions on how we can make the school better, how we can make this event that's happening better, and how we can make ourselves better.
Yeah, and
to anyone listening, to any person listening out there, celebrate your small successes, even as small as they are. Just give yourself some time, including myself, including all of us here. Just sometimes just celebrate yourself. Just make yourself feel a bit good. It's not bad to feel good. It's amazing to feel good.
And you should actually celebrate them. Like I used to celebrate by going out with my friends, and I used to tell myself, today is a day for celebration because I got my head boy position. Today is the day to celebrate because I got top 10 in my A levels. So every day you should celebrate even small successes, like sleeping on time is a big success for some people like
What
me.
about waking
Yesterday
up
I slept
early?
at,
I mean, you,
that's
from
tough.
what I know, you struggle to wake up early, and for days like
Yeah,
when we go for football and you wake up early, and I'm like, okay, man, he's actually
wow,
awake. He's come to
that's
school on
that's
time.
tough. That's tough. And actually, nowadays I'm happy whenever I make my tea really well. So whenever I make my tea really strong, I get happy because I had success in making tea. So, and then if I don't and I fail in making good tea, then I take that as a lesson that I should put more milk in it. So
Yeah, tea is very important
abs-
to in our culture for some reason. I mean, we can't go a
To
single
some
day
people,
without it.
to some people,
Absolutely. And another thing, Ali, is that after my A levels journey, of course, I had a tough time in choosing my university. And once I got admission in my university here in US, while I was going to the US embassy to get my visa, I knew I was rejected once for my US visa because of I'm Pakistani and Pakistani US stuff. So before I was there in my line next for the interview, I told myself that today, if I get this thing done, that means there is something that God has put for me in US that I will go and achieve there. If I don't get my visa today and I get rejected, I know that God has planned for me better next another place or somewhere better. So believing in God and believing in a supreme being is important. To rely on them, but to put your most effort. That's important. Uh, Absolutely. Before that interview, I had prepared myself with 12 interviews, watched every video on YouTube to give how to give a US interview. And that was my belief that if you want to pass this interview, put in 100%, but believe in God. If you don't get something, then make sure and believe that you will get somewhere better and God is behind your back, even though
okay.
anything happens. Right.
So yeah, you mentioned a good point, giving 100% in. Now I'm going to take you back again to your school years when you were just come to
Yeah.
Nairobi. Do you feel as yourself that you were giving 100% effort, or were you like, oh, I miss home? How did you cope with that, especially in giving effort? Because I know personally, well, when you're in a new country, then your mind tends to be scared, so you don't want to make a mistake actually.
Yeah.
So you try to be conservative, and then you keep on making mistake after mistake after mistake, and it just starts weighing in your head, and then you don't give 100% effort. So the first question is, how did you cope? How did you manage to when you first moved to Kenya when you were 13, be it friends or and then how did you manage to take that step from being a naughty kid in year 8, and like I said, in year 10 you got a full scholarship? So that, and the only way obviously to get a full scholarship is if you're giving 100% to the school and to yourself. And when you became in the top ranks in year 13, obviously it must have taken a countless number of hours of study.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did you push yourself to get the effort in?
So as I remember, in moving from Malaysia to Kenya was tough because I was a mama's boy. I love my mom, and I used to love and miss my mom a lot. And when you really are achieving something in life, you're on a verge to achieve great things, there is always someone who supports you, even though you might not know then, but every day there is someone who is supporting you, right? So my friends were my life for Kenya. You two, my other friends, are the life I had for Kenya. I miss my friend the most. Like those were my my support for doing passing this journey of Kenya. So small as I used to make mistakes, my friends used to guide me. Listen, this is wrong. So that's the thing here. So if you allow me to like share my screen,
Please, please.
and I have come up with actually it's not mine. It's by the motivational speaker Sonu Sharma, who has this theory. Is that Irfan and Ali? Tell me, what is this? Can you see?
B for Bojani.
A B for Bojani. Ali, what do you think?
It looks like a Roman symbol, maybe.
Roman symbol. Irfan, tell me other stuff. Like, what do you think it can be? Like, what other stuff it is?
Like interpreting the drawing, or just from first
drawing?
Look?
Just think about it. What it is?
It looks to me like many things. There's a 13 I can see. I can imagine mountains facing sideways.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Ali, what do you think?
Yeah, I think now that you've mentioned it, I do see the mountains and I see a journey upwards, you know. Well, for me, I see different levels. So
yeah.
Obviously there's the bottom and then that you go, and each looks like each level has its own challenge, its own slope.
So that's the thing. If you want to identify this drawing, you will identify it with what is it with. So let me just go to my next slide. So you will know that it is a letter B by looking at A and C. So that's who you are. You are by who you hang out with. Is A and C by your friends, right? This is who you are. You will be the person you're hanging out with, or a good person you're hanging out with, or a bad person you're hanging out with. So this was the lesson behind this slide, was know your friends, who you hang out with. And my journey to Kenya was amongst many friends who taught me street life, friends who taught me love life, friends who taught me who loved me like a family, friends who taught me religion. So all those stuff were because of my friends and my external family who were there. So that was the lessons I learned. Every time I made mistakes, my friends were there to correct me, and my other family members.
Okay, that's amazing to hear also. And Bojani, let's not let it go unnoticed that you were actually a very helpful person to every single person you met.
I agree.
Regardless of who they were.
Agree.
You never had a negative attitude to any single person. And on that note, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
But before that painting, I think the painting that's behind you, I think it's pretty decent. Maybe you can show the viewers.
Let me just show you. It is by Lee Berg. I don't know who is that, but let's appreciate it. It's art, and every art
is it. Life is art.
Let's.
Life is art, and every life you should appreciate it. Whether the life has been led poorly,
every artist is different.
Yeah. Sorry, Irfan, you were asking me something?
No worries, man. Art is beautiful.
Yeah.
I was saying that, you were saying that your perception, the way people perceive you, is seen from the people you hang out with, right?
Yeah.
So, even though that's the case, sometimes I feel like it's okay to, be with other people if you're willing to help them change. I mean, that doesn't mean that they need change or that you are the one who decides that they need change, but sometimes someone can just come to you for help, or you can go to them for help, right? And I mean, even if you feel that they aren't much in your they're not as like-minded as you, as we were saying last week, being with like-minded people. What would you say? Is it okay, like, you know, to engage with them, involve yourself in conversations? What would you do? What's your opinion on something like this?
I feel like you should learn from everyone, even if the person is dumb. Or, of course, nobody is dumb, they are smart in their own ways. But if you think in your field they don't know, if you're a coder and you see a person has come up with the most basic HTML code, but you should learn from them. Look at the effort he's putting in. So I feel you should learn from everyone, but also remember to have your limit, right? Have your limit to where you hang out with. So I remember you saying it last time in your previous video about dividing your time with 33.3%, is that 1/3 of your time you should spend with someone below your field, someone, and 1/3 your time you should spend with the people who are at your field, and 1/3 of your time you should spend with the people above your field. So that's how it is, and that's how you learn from others.
And saying that, another great point that I've just picked up is that or rather a quote is like, you should not look down upon others only if you're looking down at them to help them up.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, and then that's where, like, that's one of the key fundamentals of where I brought my quote in, is when you do good and make others smile, you will smile. And it only takes a penny to make others smile, but that smile can stay in the heart and motivate someone. And with that motivation, they can end up actually saving their life. Like, for example, if you see someone on the street and you give him like $1 or $5 or 500 Kenya shillings, you may think it's little for you, but to that person who has been sitting there for days, who has eaten, he eats a bit and then gets the energy to find the work, and then all of a sudden he's able to stand on his feet.
Happiness is contagious. I mean, you should just resonate some positive vibes to everyone you meet. It doesn't matter if you know who they are, if you don't know who they are. Everywhere you go, just keep positive, you know, keep radiating positivity wherever. And I mean, Oro Vlogs is literally based on a foundation of happiness. I mean, if I could ask you, interrupt Bojani's
sure.
interview, you personally as Oro Vlogs, I mean, what motivated you to actually start Diamond Talks or start Oro Vlogs in general?
Well, it's, you know, I like to think of myself as a happy person, and I feel that it's only right if those around me, or if I can give some of my positive vibes, some of positive energy to other people. Like I said in the previous video, it's about getting people to change their mind thoughts, yeah, to try and always think positive and pick the most positive thing, because positivity with happy will always make you happy. Like, if you're a positive person and you see positive things at everything, even though they're negative, we're not saying they're no negatives, but you'll just see your life will be so much happier, you'll be so much calm. And I think that's why I started Oro Vlogs, I think in 2018, was just to, you know, make people laugh, make people smile, take 5 minutes of their day just to, you know, think of nothing. And then Diamond Talks is just to actually give out some more positivity, get feedback, give people, you know, another like 30 minutes, slightly longer videos Diamond Talks are, and let them, you know, think of nothing and just be happy hearing people's stories. And I mean,
and Ali, trust me
everything for me.
You are achieving that goal. Every time I watch your video, I finish the video with a smile, and the rest of the day is always positive.
You make me happy. You really do. You really do.
And here's the thing, as with life, you always have to know the angels around you. And my angels were my friends' mothers that treated me with absolutely their sons. And I always say that Kenya has all my mothers in it. And I have my mother in Pakistan right now, but Kenya's have my mother in it. And I usually call more of my other mothers than my own actually mother. So these were the people who were there always, who used to make me the best biryani, and used to like call me over, and just treat me like their son. So that was one other part, was to know your angels and appreciate them after you have left them. So always call back and remember them. That's how actually you appreciate them.
Thanks, Bojani, man. I mean, I think today's session has been amazing. You've actually taught us quite a bit. I mean, from your whole life, saying how you grew into a better person, a more well-rounded person, appreciating the things around you, appreciating the people around you. And I think just before we close, or just before Ali closes for us, you didn't have your parents physically there in Nairobi with you, or I'd say for a majority part of your teenage years. Did that have a big impact on you, on what you did, or was it just something extra on the side?
So yes, that was a big impact on my life, and it is still that I grew up without while my parents were in Malaysia when I was in Kenya. I always used to think that if a call goes back to my parents from my relatives, it should be in a positive way. It shouldn't be that your son is doing that or your son is doing this. And that was always in my mind, in back of my mind, before I did anything. Of course, I did a lot worse. I had fun. The calls used to go from school here. Like, your son is doing that, doing that. But that was the fun part, and we are all mischievous in our lives. But always remember that your parents will always support you no matter what, but you should always give them happiness back. And my happiness towards them is a call to them that Taro Chokrobo Saroche.
Translate for us, translate.
It was the translation, direct translation is your boy is really doing well. So that was always the back of my mind. And disappointment towards myself. If I did something wrong, I would be disappointed for the whole day. I would be sad, and I would remember the mistake I did over and over again and try to correct that mistake the next day. That was my ultimate lesson that I want to leave you guys with. And another thing is that independent journey will be tough, and you should always have an independent journey, like Ali living his independent journey in South Africa, like you living in your independent journey in UK. It teaches you a lot of lessons that will not teach you while your parents are there. They take care of your finance, they take care of your injuries in football, they take care of your hunger, they take care of your sad feelings that you're feeling for the day. But if you're alone, you got to take care of these things by yourself, right? You got to time manage, you got to money manage, you got to feeling manage it. And all these stuff, you got to do it by yourself. And it makes you the man or the woman that you will be later appreciating. So have one thing you guys should take away from this is have an independent journey of your own.
I mean, that's awesome. And I have the honor of saying that for 7 years that I've known you, I don't think there's a day that I'm with you I've not learned anything. I've learned a lot from your journey, from being a part of your journey as well. And I think every time we talk, there's always some, you have that inspirational voice, your positivity, like I love positivity. And then, you just spread the good vibes, and I'm always happy to see you, always happy to speak with you. And it's just been amazing to know you. And I think for us, we'll always be friends forever. I don't think there's anything that...
And before Irfan takes on, another thing, Ali, is that I have not achieved much in life yet, and I have big dreams for myself right now. But just these small things I'm sharing with you guys is the life that I live with. And you know, people, I've seen that people do not have principles around them. You know, they say rules are meant to be broken, but rules are the ones who take you far. And these rules will be like small by small, like time management rules or investment rules or respect rules. Respecting others is important. So these small rules that you build in your brain to lead your life with will make sure that you achieve big goals in life. And of course, I have not achieved much right now, but on the journey of achieving them, inshallah.
Yeah, Bojani, I wish you the best in life, man.
Thank
I
you.
mean, even though you're saying you haven't achieved much yet, there's a lot you have achieved, and if you even want to achieve more, it's great. So I wish you all the best in whatever you're doing. I know we
Thank
keep
you.
in touch quite often, so keep in touch and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank all the listeners and the viewers. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on any of the other platforms, thank you so much for tuning in. I know today's video was a bit long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned and can relate to Hasnain's journey and what he's gone through. And yeah, and we're going to bring hopefully another podcast very soon. And I mean, Hasnain will be a guest in the future, no doubt, once again, with his wise words of wisdom. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next podcast. Bye bye.